I better hit the, oh, hello? Hello? Okay. Hang on. Okay. Hang on. Let me just, hang on. How we doing? No, hang on. Okay, hello. Hi, hang on. What a fun start to the morning. There we go. Hi. Okay. What a jeez. Okay. I'm leaving that all in. That's all staying in. Hi, hello, good morning. Hi, everybody. Let me go to the top here. D, hello. Good morning. Kiki, hello. Welcome on in. I hope you're doing well. D saying nice things about me. How dare you? How absolutely dare you? Ash. Ash, good morning. Definitely afternoon for you. How the heck are you doing? How have you been? Greg, hello. Welcome on in. Sage, good morning. Apparently Matt's trying to jump scare us this morning. Yeah, that's what if I hope the desk camera still works. It doesn't. Great. Great. So that'll be fun. That'll be fun. We'll figure that out. Let me tell you, I don't know what it is about a computer that doesn't like having two cameras at the same time. I don't know what it is. I don't know what software controller. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what part of OBS or Windows or whatever dislikes having multiple cameras plugged in. So but we're dealing with it. We're dealing with it. Celestian, hello. Oh, Kiki, thank you. Yeah, this is a Dragon Quest shirt I got forever ago. This is a Dragon Quest shirt I got forever ago. When we go to the desk, I'll fuss with it. When we get to the desk, I'll fuss with it. You know, we'll figure it out. Whatever, you know, whatever. Whatever. That's just how it goes with streaming, baby. That's just how it goes. Okay. But yeah, hi, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody is doing well. Hope everybody's having a good morning. I'm a little tired. I'm a little more tired than I want to be, but you know what? It's how it goes sometimes with streaming. You just gotta deal with it. You just gotta deal with it. You just gotta say, you know what? I'm here to do the damn thing. I'm here to do the damn thing. I'm really looking forward to today. I'm really looking forward to today. We're gonna be playing, I wish I had like a book to show you. We're gonna be playing Project ECCO by by Elliot Davis. That screen is so bright. I hate it. We're playing Project ECCO by Elliot Davis. This is a solo journaling TTRPG that uses a planner. And again, I would show you the planner, except I have my stuff all set up and arranged neatly over there, so I don't have it over here. But you use a planner and a variety of divination methods to time travel in an attempt to stop. I think in the game it's called The Entity. Yeah, The Entity. So it rules. It rules. It is a game that I've wanted to play for a while, just to see, hey, what does a game that you play in a planner look like? Like, what does that actually look like? And our friends over at Mini Sided Media are doing a podcast of it, and I was like, you know, now's the time, right? Now's the time to get in on the Project ECCO hype. Everybody's doing it. And, you know, I may as well get in on it too. Again, God, everybody's websites are so bright. Ugh. Give me a dark mode. Get out of here. But yeah. So yeah, that's what we're doing today. That's it. That's what. That's it. Let's go over to the desk. Because we'll have to spend a little time, you know, going over stuff and all that, and it'll take me a second to transition to the desk. So we'll go to a break, and then when I come back, we'll be at the desk. Don't go anywhere. Okay, hello. Oh, this is probably gonna be in view of everything. Okay, hang on. Okay, so that has to go there first. And then this should go here. And this can go there because I can reach it. And this can go there. Herb, hello. Herb, hello. This. And then I need to reset the camera. Because the camera wants to be a jerk. There we go. There we go. Okay. Hi. Hi, we did it. We did it. We're here. I have a desk. I have hands. I realized one of the things that I wanted to do, I can't because my stream deck is all the way over there. Really what I need, do you know the thing that would make this a lot easier is a second computer. I just need a smaller computer to be able to run all of the things. You need longer finger. I mean, I could reach it if I really wanted to, because my arms are pretty long, but I don't want to. So I've got Stream Deck Mini, and I copied some of the important commands that I need to my Stream Deck Mini, aka my phone. What would be nice is if I had some other computing device to take all of this information, you know, the camera, a Stream Deck, that sort of thing, and run it through. The virtual the mini is the way to go. Yeah, I've got a 6 button, but it would have the same problem as my regular Stream Deck. It just wouldn't reach. So my phone works fine. you know, my phone works fine. It is what it is. Hi, everybody. We're here. So, Herb, hello. Good morning. Just so it's said. I want to show everybody the cute dice bag that Emily made me. Emily's great. It holds too many dice. It holds too many. I don't need more dice than this. I don't need more. And like, I'm gonna dump all these out to show you. You don't need more dice than this. I appreciate seeing the candy corn dice. Yes, I bought 2 sets when I saw them. Maybe 3 sets. No, 3 sets, because there's 3D20s. So I bought 3 sets when I saw them because they're fantastic and I love them. You don't need more dice than this. You don't in your life. So the fact that the dice bag is this big is ridiculous. Don't listen to them, chat. Well, here, we'll leave this out for a second. I put a little piece of cardboard. Aaron suggested this, and I think it's a very good idea. I put a little piece of cardboard in the bottom to give the bottom a little more stability when I move it, and that's been going well. So Bulb is gonna be there, chilling with me while we do this. My dad got light up dice for Christmas. Gotta support the bottom. Yeah, give Matt money. So in Project Echo, hey, guess what? I can do this now. Boop. Oh, I can't change the pages. Oh, how do I want to do this? Will the mouse reach? Mouse? Oh, the mouse will reach over here. Well, that's a solution. That's a solution. Because I gotta read it. Just second streaming area problems. Yeah, just the idea that I need to stream from somewhere that isn't directly in front of my computer is ridiculous, you know? Why would anybody ask for that? So Project Echo by Elliot Davis. Guest writing by Sam Lee, Brian Flaherty from again, Mini-Sided Media shoutouts. Edited by Will Jobs, shoutouts to Will Jobs. And original soundtrack by Behold. I've been really excited. Let me double check that this looks okay on stream. It looks a little squished. Let me make it a little bigger. Yeah. How's that look for everybody? How's it going? Try to make sure I can see. Try to make sure I can see everything. Okay, yeah, and if I leave the mouse here, I can use it as a mouse wheel. That's really all I'm using it for. All I'm using it for is the mouse wheel, so I can turn pages. Might need to read some things for us. Yeah, I'm doing that anyway, but it's mostly to say, hey, like you can see, this is what I'm looking at. I might. It looks a little cut off. Hang on, let me move it a little bit. Looks a little cut off on the side. Oh, you know what it was? I like edited the size of it, and then I changed the program. I changed the program dimensions. Hang on. Yeah, and so it's cutting off. There we go. There we go. I've been wanting to introduce my eldest kid to things like single player TTRPGs. I feel like she'd really get into it. She's got a great imagination and loves self-led creativity. Hell yeah. D, what sort of things does she like? Like in terms of themes, like Because let me tell you, there's a lot of solo TTRPGs. But all right, let's read through the intro here at the top, and then we will go through setting up our character and walk through the whole thing. Fantasy animals, anthropomorphic creatures. The one that jumps out at me that I feel like everyone, I feel like a lot of people would enjoy is Koriko, which is about being a young witch in a village. It is very spelling. Hang on. It's a very popular solo TTRPG. It is about being a young witch in a city, and kind of being like I think it's like your first year in the city. But I have so many. Oh, hang on. Iron Valley is another really good one. It is like an Animal Crossing style solo game, which, if I remember correctly, it uses a lot of Oracle mechanics, because it's based off of Ironsworn. So it'll introduce you to the it'll introduce you to Oracle mechanics, which is really good. Yeah, when we get back from break, we can talk more solo TTRPGs, just because it's hard for me to send links and stuff right now. But okay. I don't want to derail. No, please listen. There's no such thing as derailing a mattcaulder stream, because that implies that a mattcaulder stream was at any point near the rails. Like, we're adjacent to the rails. We're not. I'm just as likely to do it to myself, so I can't, I can't be mad when one of y'all is interested in the thing that I'm doing. You know what I mean? All right, introduction. Project ECCO is a solo role-playing game in which you play as an agent on a mission to track, understand, and destroy an entity of chronological consumption and obfuscation. ECCO, as named by the agency, but the agents have come to simply refer to it as the entity. In this game, you will travel through time across the dates of a single year in pursuit of this being, discovering more about yourself and your employer along the way. mattcaulder is a phantom train chasing down heroes off the rails in the spirit forest before Brian suplexes me. Yeah. This is a solo role-playing game with a twist. Rather than writing in the lines of a journal, all of your entries are recorded on the dates of a planner as you catalog your travels across time. In this game, you'll turn this planner into a record of your journeys across time and an artifact of your struggles against ECCO, with days cataloging your experience and those destroyed by the entity in equal measure. Your journey may diverge, loop back on itself, and at times cause great contradictions. Time is kind to no one. A single session of Project ECCO might take 1 to 2 hours, with a complete playthrough takes 3 to 5 sessions. Your journey will end after 6 encounters, either with the entity or the agency, detailed further in the endgame section. A note on journaling. In a journaling game, you may write. How and how much you write is up to you. You may choose to write from the perspective of your character as a third-party narrator. You may write detailed descriptions or short bullet points. I think, due to the fact that we're going to do this in an actual planner, we're going to write shorter than longer, just to make better use of the space. Just to make better use of the space, just to be a little more planner-esque, and kind of get that vibe. So what we need to play Project ECCO: this rule set, we got it. Something to write with. I have a pencil and a pen, and we're good there. A year planner. I got a planner right here. I like a weekly planner is recommended, but you may opt for day, week, or month, depending on how you'd like to write in each prompt. A day will give you the most space, a month the least, and a week planner falls somewhere right in between. We need a coin to flip for heads or tails, and a 6-sided die called a D6. I always appreciate it. So here's the planner. This is the planner that I went with. We were at Staples working on some other stuff, and I picked up this classic weekly, monthly planning calendar. Because once you get into the actual months, I like the tabbies. The tabbies will be good for going back and forth. But once you get into the actual week, there's a lot of space, which is good. That's kind of the idea. So we have kind of a, we have kind of a split. We have the month planner that we will utilize in some way. And we have our weekly planner. How does the light look? Yeah, it looks fine. Okay. And it has it has other stuff, but what I appreciate is it doesn't have too much other stuff. A lot of other planners were like, it has all of this and all of this, and I'm like, I don't need that. You know what I mean? I don't need that. Like, this is good. Maybe we'll use the contacts at the front to keep track of NPCs that we run into, because that could be fun. I don't know why it starts in July. I guess that's, that's probably when they printed it and they're like, hey, listen, if you get it in July, you can start using it. But I guess we got to start somewhere. So here's the planner. I got a coin. So chat, help me pick the coin, right? I've got 2 coins for this. One is, we'll introduce this coin first. This is the shut up and sit down first player marker coin. I bought this at the first PAX Unplugged. I think maybe Gen Con. I don't remember, but I bought this at a con. And it is, shut up and sit down, the famed board game reviewers. And it is literally just to denote who the first player is in games that don't have a first player. But it's a good solid coin. So that's our first option. Our second option is this coin, which features this guy on the front and this lady on the back. And if you're a board game sicko, you might recognize this as the coin. Now, I don't know how I came about this. I don't remember. This is from BioShock Infinite, the bad one. And this is the twins in that game. Now, again, I don't remember how I came about this. Maybe it was a pre-order bonus or something. Back when they used to actually give you something for pre-ordering. But those are our coins. We will eventually need both. Because what I appreciate is, as it says in the PDF, we may need an additional D6, a deck of playing cards with the jokers removed, a tarot card, an additional coin, and ways to destroy the pages of our journal. If I do that, it automatically goes away. That's fun. Maybe we'll do that, because then it pops up when I'm looking at it. That seems like the right way to do it. That seems like the right way to do it. So if anybody has opinions on the coin that we should use to start, on the coin that we start with, let me know. And again, so I need a D6, but then I also need a second D6. So I need to pick 2 D6. Now, I have a no, listen, D6 is, D says the should have been sit down coin. I agree. That was the one I was kind of leaning towards. That's the one I was kind of leaning towards to start. We know things have occurred. We know things have occurred if this one pops up. And if we need playing cards and tarot cards, listen, I got them. I'm ready. You think I'm not prepared? I'm prepared. So we got a lot of D6s to choose from. I think this red one's actually a D3. Yeah, that's actually a D3. Put that back. That one's also a D3. These are going to be hard. These blue ones are going to be hard to read on stream. So I'm going to say not that one. I'm kind of leaning towards these ones I got from Obsidian Portal, which are white pips on black and are very readable. They're not the most exciting D6s, but they're readable. And I think in this regard, we're gonna do that. So we gotta pick 2. So I'm gonna pick 2 that are different. Put all these back. This work I made for myself. Dump all my dice out on the table. To show you how much of a gamer I am. Just like, oh, look at all these dice. Excuse me. Look, it's always the D4s that are left. It's always the D4s. Don't pretend you don't like the sound of the dice clacking. Listen, this, it's fine. It's fine. Some people get too into dice. Some people get too into dice. A buddy of mine had metal dice, and we were scared every time he rolled. A friend of mine had big clacky metal dice. It was too much. Will this actually work? No, because I didn't set it. That makes sense. Future proof, hello. Future proof, hello. So in the same way, here's our D6. This is a Shadow of the Demon Lord D6. I got this from the fantastic Shadow of the Demon Lord Kickstarter. Shout out to Robert Schwab. You use 3d6 in that game, and so you got 3d6. It's great. So we got our D6, we got our coin, we got our planner, we got pen, pencil. We'll try these out, see how these go. We also need a character sheet. At Pantaloon College, you told me if you put epoxy dice in the oven at 200 for 2 hours, they won't melt, but they'll ever so slightly shift. It's imperceptible. Once they're heavier on the bottom, you can make loaded dice. Wild, wonder what he's up to now. What a wild thing to do. What a wild, you know, I've said in any number of discussions about cheating in TTRPGs or fudging dice in TTRPGs, if you have to cheat at TTRPGs, you should go to a therapist. And I mean that as a kindness. I mean that in a way that, like, you need to get some semblance of control in your life. Like, you should talk to somebody about that, and you should seek some sort of professional help. Because if that's what you've got to do, buddy, I don't know. Buddy, I don't know. Okay. Okay. So the pencil, of course, because nothing can be regular. This is my DCC 2014 World Tour mechanical pencil. The eraser is, of course, gone. Do I have another eraser? No. So we just got to commit. We just got to commit. I don't even know how it worked. Well, Jim, this is your 17th nat 20 this game. Would you just like to take my seat? No, it's people that have loaded dice will be like, oh, that's my special dice. I break that out for the special occasions. You know. They'll be like, yeah, I've got 17 sets of dice so that you can't tell when I'm using the loaded one. Because they're, again, in a way that I mean it as a kindness, because I want them to look at themselves and take stock of their actions. They're losers. They're losers. Have the fun of role-playing in TTRPGs is a joy of failing a role and having amazing consequences and interesting stories. No, the fun of TTRPGs is getting the kill on the dragon and being the cool guy. That's it. That's all that matters. What are you talking about amazing stories? Get out of here. That sounds made up. I never thought about it. I imagine when you get to more serious games, you're forced to use house dice. I also wouldn't do that. I also wouldn't do that. I would not want to play with the person who has cooked dice any more than I would want to play with the GM who doesn't trust us and makes us use other dice. Both of those people are bad for different reasons. You know what I mean? Both of those people are bad. What's Project ECCO? So Project ECCO, as I go find, as I scroll through to the end to find the character sheet, so that I can remember how this works. Project ECCO is a solo time travel TTRPG where you play it in an actual planner, which is great. I've been wanting to play this for a little bit, and when I was growing up, my dad would play D&D with his best friend. Now said best friend's oldest daughters, now kids of their own, invited my dad to their campaign. I've never been invited to play with any of them. You know, that's one of those things. That's one of those things where it's like, is that actually a thing you want to do? But also, it's nice to be asked. Oh, I really fucked that one up. Nobody tell anybody, okay? I fucked that one up real hard. Nobody tell anybody, okay? It's secret. Nobody saw it happen. Nobody saw it happen. Can't see anything you're writing. That's fine. I'm just recreating the character sheet on my little pad of paper. It's fine. You didn't need to see it. There's solo TTRPGs. Oh, there's so many solo TTRPGs, let me tell you. It is an ever growing what's the word that I want? Genre, I guess. I guess genre is the word. And is this pen right? No, I don't like it. Do solo TTRPGs work like your choose your own adventures? You move through the story and you're prompted when to roll. You know what, Future? Not all of them are. This one is. This one is. So you will you'll see here in a second. You'll see here in a second. Yeah, no worries, D. Do what you gotta do. So let's close this so that it's sized properly. So, how to travel through time. In this game, your agent finds different methods of time travel called devices. Each device works differently and comes with its own set of prompts. There are 7 devices available for your agent to use over the course of play. You begin your journey with the watch, already in your inventory. The rest are waiting for you to discover along your travels. You may choose to travel with any of the devices in your inventory at any time. While you can use the same device over and over, mixing it up will lead to more variety of play. To time travel, begin by choosing a device you currently have in your inventory. Turn to that device's page and follow the instructions at the top. Determine the new date you're traveling to and corresponding prompt, then write your response on that date in your planner. Each device has a special group of prompts. Prompts may signify the length of your visit, but you may also decide it makes sense for your agent to stay more than one day. In these instances, feel free to carry your writings across multiple dates in your planner. Excuse me. And then special events. At times, a prompt will trigger a special event that requires you to flip to another page. These include device discovery, timeline divergence, agency headquarters, and entity encounters. Dates of significance. Most planners have holidays marked in their pages. In Project ECCO, these are called dates of significance. When you flip to a date of significance, you may choose to consult the prompts on page 56 to 59 to augment your response. Before playing, in order to set up your planner, add the dates listed on page 56 to 59. There you will find some common US holidays, some dates specific to Project ECCO, and instructions for defining your own dates of significance. Oh man. How do I do, let's see, click. Oh yeah. Let's make it happen. So New Year's Day is marked out. Any Friday the 13th. Let's see. Let's do the ones. Let's mark out the ones that are specific, right? Any Friday the 13th, we can just remember that. Day for can I spell this? Day for deliberation. February 2nd. Calling out Groundhog Day in a time travel TTRPG is very funny. Easter, April 11th. See, this is why you can't see it, but I'm glad I've got these little tabbies, because then it's like, oh, April, whoop, right to it. April 11th. Mike's 60th birthday party. This is gonna be hard. I have not written like manually in a very long time. I don't really. Okay, Earth Day. I don't there's not a lot of cause. Fisher Day. If I thought of this, I would have done this yesterday, but you know, I didn't know about this. June 4th. The day everyone forgot. Okay. Mechanical pencil, calm down. Independence Day, Labor Day, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's Eve. Great. Nice and easy. Nice and easy. There's also other dates of significance, which we will put. Your initiation day is the day that you start, which it would be very funny to come back to the day that you start. we're starting so close to Founders Day. I don't want to load it up, you know? We're starting so close. And then Endgame. There are 2 ways for a game of Project Echo to end. You encounter the entity 6 times. You return to agency headquarters 6 times. You track your progress through a clock on your character sheet as shown on the inside back cover. Once you've met one of these conditions and half the clock is full, flip to the endgame portion and bring your journey to its conclusion. You may find yourself on the same day you've previously traveled to. Things can get complicated. You may incorporate your previous writings into a repeat visit. However, each date has a maximum of 2 prompts you can respond to it. If you find yourself landed on a date for the third time, or if the date has no more room, you are expelled from time and must roll on the timeline divergence table. So I might try to keep my writing into half of what we got. Yeah, when I go to a spot, I'll draw a line and sort of mark out half of it, so that I'm limiting myself. Limiting myself is fun. Over the course of the game, some dates within your planner will be consumed or otherwise destroyed. You can choose to signify this any way you wish. We are just going to, I'm gonna write over the date with a marker, and we'll leave all the prompts and stuff. So, character creation. So this is today. You are agent, real world date, or a date of your choice. So today is 6/1. So we're your agent 0106. You work for the agency you have for some time. You are highly trained and have prepared for this sort of mission. You have no memory of a life before the agency. There is a coin in your pocket. It feels familiar when you run your fingers over it. This is your coin. Your last defense against the instability of time. Instability, I don't know why I said that. Don't lose it. There's a package waiting for you. You arrive knowing its exact location. It is conspicuously placed, but hidden to all but those trained by the agency. Your goal is to track the entity, document its effects on time and space, and should you figure out how, save time and space. Save time itself. Matt, I need to know if you went with month, day, day, or day, month. I went with month, day, day. Because I'm an American and that's what makes sense. Correct. Every agent has a coin. Wait, where's my coin? There it is. This humble coin serves as a final defense against timeline divergence, referred to commonly among agents as the time storm or simply time hell. Place your coin on the coin space on your character sheet. Whenever presented with options, flip your coin and respond to the corresponding prompt. Some events may make you lose your coin. Whenever this happens, set your coin to the side, revealing the lost coin symbol. If you have lost your coin and are presented with a coin prompt, you face timeline divergence. Whenever you face timeline divergence, flip to page 60, roll on the table, unless a more specific direction is provided, as in the endgame section. Let's begin. Ash, how the heck are you? It's good to see you. Problem solved. Sweet. Yeah. Just in time. Just in time. Open your planner to the current real world day. If using a planner other than the current year, start with January 5th. We're starting on January 6th, ironically enough. Answer this first prompt. Where are you? What are the sounds, smells, sights, and sensations you notice first? Where do you find your package from the agency? Consider the year you are traveling in. Are you in a city, a village? Is this a version of the world similar to our own or different in some way? The package contains the following: a letter from Director 0214, a standard issue agency time machine, the Watch, a field planner, and enough time appropriate currency to get around. Once you have answered the first prompt, turn to the Watch device and begin your journey. Applying for a job on Dark Tide today. Job hunting sucks. I had an incredibly lovely New Year's, so I'm holding on to that. That's good. That's good to hear. That's very good to hear. I wish you the best of luck, Ash, obviously. I'm sure you know. They would be lucky to have you. They would be lucky to have you. For some reason, D, I thought you said job applicator, and I was like, what? Okay. So, where are you? What are these sights, smells, you know? So this is first day, right here, is January 6th. I wish I had a piece of text, just apply a job, you get a job, you get a job. So, like a label gun. Let's see. The vibe that I want to go for this game is kind of Quantum Leap. I was thinking Quantum Break, as I always am. I was like, Quantum Break, not Quantum Break. What's the other thing? Kind of Quantum Leapy, kind of early Doctor Who, where it's the real world, but obviously I work for a time travel secret organization. And there's some sort of, there's some amount of like technology / magic, you know what I mean? Like there's some amount of technology that exists in this universe that is powerful enough to send people through time. And thus there is technology that is inseparable from magic. And, you know, so I want to have that sort of possibility. Like classic Who, you know, where like there can be robots, or there could be dinosaurs, or there could be, you know, where it's like, yeah, you know, it's the real world, but also maybe it gets a little weird and silly. And I'm also thinking tone, like it can get a little serious, it can get a little zany. I feel like our tech industry could have solved this, but didn't, to preserve capitalism. It was actually finding products that fit your needs. Tech that actually solved the problem would inhibit profit. Yeah. But then they complain about communism. Do you think you're going to roleplay an original character? Or are you playing this game as Matt Calder? I think in the way that every character I play is Matt Calder in some way. It's just gonna be me. Do you know what I mean? It's gonna be the me that exists in a universe where I am a time traveling, I don't want to say cop, but you know, I'm a time traveling secret agent. January 7th, I spent the day organizing my cards across the time. Nuja, hello. Nuja, hello. Rude but accurate. Rude but accurate. You know what? I'm gonna put my coin up here for everybody to see, so everybody knows when I have my coin. All right. So in that, where I'm thinking, what's a good silly way to start? You know, what's a good silly way to set the vibe. Like, you know, 80s-ish Americana. I feel like I've got to be in a mall or a grocery store. That's kind of where my mind goes. That's kind of where my mind goes, is where you would hide something in plain sight, but not detectable, you know? Is a mall or a grocery store. Also, because it's funny. You know? A Kmart. Yeah, you know, like a proper, yeah. For the, yeah, like, you know, like, that's perfect, because, like, again, if this is Classic Who or, like, Quantum Leap, like, this is explicitly, like, an 80s-ish TV show. And so it would be like, oh, yeah, we gotta, for the first episode, we got a sponsor deal from Kmart. We got a sponsor deal from Kmart. Yeah, so and then the first episode is called like Blue Light Special or something. There's still Kmart's in the 80s. So I'm just gonna say arrive in town, because it doesn't matter what the town name is, and if it does matter, then I'll figure it out. I miss Kmart and its little food court. People talk about Target being the upscale Walmart, and it's actually that Target was the upscale Kmart. I do like the idea of this time agency using Kmart as their, like, their constant. Shouts to Lost. Pick up package at Kmart. I think, and I think, you know, it's explicitly Kmart because it's funny. It's funny to visualize someone, like, it's a thing that's hidden in plain sight, but is like, you know, like, you can't find it unless you have agency training, but also it needs to be somewhat hidden. So I like the idea of it being in, like, in the middle of a clothes rack or something like that. And so it's like, it's me, like, moving stuff or radio. Yeah, like, very explicitly these these stores that only existed from the 80s to the 90s, you know? I know Radio Shack was longer, but it sucked. Nobody went to a Radio Shack after a certain point. We picked up the package of the Kmart. We obtained the watch. KB Toys. We'll keep this in mind. This is a good running gag. This is a good running gag. This could be fun to keep up with. Because I like the idea of, like, a grown man having to shuffle through areas that it's clearly not where they should be, you know? Like, I like the idea of like being at a KB Toys. It also speaks to moments of embarrassment for me where, you know, being at a KB Toys when I was like 17, that sort of thing, and like trying to find the one Star Wars figure that I wanted or something, and like I gotta check every figure on this hook, you know? And so you're like reaching all the way back trying to look, and people are like, what are you doing? And I'm like, listen, maybe you should be about it in the same way, you know? Don't look at me. All right. So I think also in the funny way, I think the world is very clean. I think for the TV show like version of this, you know, like what we're seeing as the audience, everything is too clean and too bright, as a way to sort of play up how like good it is, so that later when stuff starts getting bad from the entity, we can start introducing more shadows to the shots, and you know, we can it gives us room to play. You know, it's not just a Kmart, it's like it's the cleanest Kmart you've ever seen. The racks are full, the lights are bright, you know, everything is shot in a very clean, you know, hard camera. You know, this isn't meant to feel gritty or grimy or anything. This is very like artificial. And I'm curious what maybe we'll, you know, as we have encounters with the entity, maybe we'll get a chance to define it a little more. But I'm curious what the entity for a game like this is. Yeah, we'll add that. Shouts are very static and very bright. Highlighting. What's the word I want? What's the word I want here? I don't know. Words are hard, man. Like the word I'm looking for specifically is like all of the lights are bright, everything is really clean, everything feels really static, because later it's going to get grimy and gross and dark and like maybe oppressive is the word that I want. So what's the opposite of that? I saw a link to the stream on Blue Sky and clicked to the mention Echo. I've just been listening passively. I got jump scared by the Golden Sun theme song. Sazzalo, yeah. If the music's too loud, let me know. But yeah, welcome on in. Kmart as I remember, not Kmart as it was. Right, yeah, definitely a idealistic. Maybe that's the word that I want. Idealistic. Like it feels I think sanitized is in the realm, but idyllic is I think what I want. I think idyllic is what I want, because it is, you know, I'm thinking of this as like I'm totally into the TV show framing. You know what I mean? I'm totally into the TV show framing. So this is it's almost overwrought how pristine and everything is. Like it's almost comical. I picked on mode because I'm very familiar. Volume is fine. Yeah, no worries. I appreciate you stopping by. And yeah, enjoy your lurk. Thank you for chilling. Yeah, like at this point it's almost, and I think that's a thing. I think that's kind of an 80s TV thing where it felt it felt fake because it was TV, you know? It felt fake because it was TV. And then that's a thing we can play with as we go. Yeah. Yeah. All right. We need to turn to page 22. I really appreciate this PDF being hyperlinked. Did I turn it back on? I didn't. I think if I just do that, yeah, that's what we'll do. Interviewing the first applicant for my job posting. Fingers crossed. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Good luck, future. A watch. A standard issue agency time machine. Looks like a wristwatch with a spinnable outer rim. Has no discernible way to tell time. Limited time travel, but good for a basic jump. To time travel with the watch, roll a d6. Use the result to modify the current month or day and travel to the resulting new date. Kind of gilded or lacquered for size. Yeah, like almost intentionally playing it up. Install the following prompts based on the result of your roll. So, coming to the new year with no fucks given. Ended my cover letter for the Dark Tide job with I'm a powerful force that is currently undirected, and honestly that puts all of Stockholm in danger. Listen, from what I've heard, cover letters are BS anyway, so you may as well be your authentic self. Do you know what I mean? You may as well be your authentic self. Having a little more of my tea. All right. I'm gonna make myself a sizzle reel. Let's go. All right, let's roll the die here. And then we will see how far we want to jump. And then we'll figure out the prompt. So we rolled a 2. We rolled a 2. A jump of 2 days for the first jump doesn't seem bad. I wonder almost if we want to... Do we want to randomize whether it's the month or the day? You know where the game makes use of a calendar, Persona 5. Boy, does it. Let me tell you. Boy, does it. Because we could... In the way that gamers love to game. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Here's what we're gonna do. Sadly, I am a gamer. That's very true. Let's go, girls. All right. So we're gonna roll the D12, the best die. And I'm gonna write this down so that I don't forget. I'm gonna write this down so that I don't forget. Months are odd. Days are even. So if we get an odd result on the D12, it is a month. If we get an even result on the D12, it's a day. And if we have to discern similar things for the other devices, that's what we'll do, right? So I got a 7. That's an odd. That's an odd. So we jump to... Oh, you know what I'll do also? prompt 1. We jump to March 6th. We jump to March 6th. Hello? So this is the second prompt. And based off of our roll of a 2, there is a convergence. Is it possible to lock the camera focus? Probably. If it's being a real pain, I can probably go in here and oh yeah, autofocus should be off. Okay, I've turned autofocus off. Let me know how it goes if I need to fuss with it more. Okay. 2, there's a convergence. A time anomaly has caused 2 areas to merge in a collage of disparate activity. Who do you meet here, and what 2 conflicting things do you see about them? I'm gonna mark that our prompt is a 2 on the watch. A time anomaly has caused 2 areas to merge. What are 2? A collage of disparate activity. So the things that are happening are very different. The things that are happening are very different. Which, for 80s Americana, makes me think of something with people and something with cars. Drive-in theater and a roller rink. That's a really fun. They're different, but they rhyme in a fun way. Yeah. They're different, but they rhyme in a fun way. They're both teenage date locations. Yeah, well, and they both feature wheels and motion and activity in different states. In a way that I think is really interesting. Yeah, I like that. That's a good one, Sage. That's really good. So I wanna honor the word merge here, because it's not like somebody invented the drive-in roller rink, right? And it's merge in a way that feels wrong. It's merge in a way that feels wrong. But like, again, wrong in that 80s, you know, Quantum Leap, Doctor Who way. Like, my first blush is people driving around the rink. And there's just one big screen, like one big loop of a screen. Does it say the results need to be usable? No, it says it's caused them to merge in a collage of disparate activities. So I think what it wants, I don't think it doesn't necessarily imply that it's usable, but I think keeping to the theme and sort of tone that I want, it's something that it's something that is still functional, even in a way that is that like feels bad or seems bad. It's functional, but it's nonsensical. Right. It's nonsensical, I think is perfectly it. Like, it's like, oh yeah, they think what they're doing is great. And you know, what is happening here in the merge is fine. But to us, yeah, it's nonsensical. Is the roller rink the parked cars? Is it actually, are they roller skating on top of the cars? So you go to the drive-in, but you park your car in a circle, and then you rollerblade on top of that. Which you wouldn't do for a number of reasons, but again, you know, it's a 80s TV show. We only show it from like 2 angles, and it works fine. Yeah. It doesn't have to, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. Perfect is the enemy of done, right? Perfect is the enemy of done. The drive-in roller rink. Cars parked in a circle. Kids skate on top. Who do I meet there? And what 2 conflicting things do I see about them? Who do I meet? I think in the way this is a TV show, this is played by some, you know, young heartthrob, you know, like it's a sci-fi show, so maybe it's like Mark Hamill. You know, somebody like that, where you know, they have their little guest spot. Mork and Mindy would do this a bunch too, if I remember correctly. What two conflicting things do I see about them? And I'm curious about conflicting in this. Is the confliction? Is that a word? I don't think that's a word. Is the conflict due to the timeline merge, or in the way that people are complicated? You know, sometimes we have internal conflicts. I'm just gonna write Mark Hamill. I like the idea that it's Mark Hamill. I like the idea that it's Mark Hamill. That's really funny to me. I might need to look up like 80s. You know, I might need to look up more 80s guest stars. What two conflicting things? I think for some reason Mark Hamill in a like racing jumper's not the right word because I'm an American, but jumper is the word that's coming to mind. With like a crash helmet and roller skates is really funny to me. Oh, you know what's yeah. I don't know why though. I don't know why he would be in a. I don't know why he'd be in a like a racing jumpsuit. But it's a funny visual. I think Mark Hamill's character is I don't know if he recognizes that there's been a timeline anomaly. I don't think he recognizes there's been some sort of event, but I think his character recognizes in some way that this is wrong, and is like, well, you know what we should do is we should get some sort of material and smooth this out. This would be a smoother, you know, in the way that like everyone is mocking him, you know, because he's daring to go against the norm. He's like, we should get some sort of material and make this smooth, and you know, then maybe we'd have a better situation. You know, maybe we would have a better time of it. And they're all laughing at him, and I think in the episode ends with a sort of heartwarming scene where, you know, we have a conversation about, you know, following, maybe not following your dreams, but you know, it's okay to think outside the box. It's okay to, you know, it's okay to march to a different beat. You know, that sometimes the people who have the strangest ideas are the ones that, you know, that live the most interesting lives. And it feels right to have like a nice, wholesome, sort of fable moment with Mark Hamill. 80s Mark Hamill too, when he was hot before the car accident. Not to say that he was hot, he wasn't hot after, but all right. We've got to roll again. Oh, we got to figure out add or subtract too. Oh, I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about that because I was like, oh yeah, we'll just always be going forward. How do we want to do that? I could just introduce more dice to the situation and just randomize more of it. I think for now we'll randomize more of it, and you know what we'll do? We'll use more of what we got, right? We'll use more of the D12. We'll use more of the D12. So if it's 1 to 6, we minus. If it's 7 to 12, we add, right? And so that'll handle both things with just the 1 die. That's game design, baby. That's game design. All right. Double 6s. I feel like something should happen when we roll doubles, but the game doesn't support that, so that's okay. We got a 6 and we got a 6. That means we're going back in time 6 days. So we're going to March 1st. Third prompt. And we rolled a 6. What happens on a 6? 2 timelines split your vision. You reach for your coin. There's an entrance to the agency headquarters on heads, on tails. There's an entity encounter. This is big. This already is happening. This already is happening. Now, for folks following along at home, the pair, the reference pair, if you roll doubles 3 times, you go directly to jail. The pair is heads and the logo is tails. Now, here's a question. How does everybody flip their coins? How does everybody flip their coins? Because the way that I do it is, you know, I do the thumb flip, very classic. I catch it and then I slap it on the back of my hand, and that's the way that I read it. Or do people just catch it and read it that way? I'm curious how everybody does it. Let's write again before I forget. 6 on the watch. You do it the first way? I think that's the way most people do it. I think that's the way most people do it. I think that's the way most people are taught to do it. I think mainly that's the way people do it because that's the way they do it on football. Or that's how they do it in sports, I guess, not just the football. But I gotta go over here. I can't flip it this close. Tails. We've encountered the entity. We have encountered the entity. So the first thing I'm gonna do . 'Cause, 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 the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna color in the red section of our clock. After 6 encounters, 5 more, 6 total encounters with the entity, our game ends. How does it end? We'll have to find out. But there it is, entity encounter, flip to page 64. When faced with an entity encounter, roll a d6 and use the value to get one of the following prompts. If you encounter a prompt you've already faced, you may choose to re-roll. During your 3rd and 5th encounters, consult the corresponding supplementary prompt. Each time you face an entity encounter, destroy a number of days equal to the result of your dice roll. These dates have been consumed. So, I roll a d6. I rolled a 1. In a moment of cowardice, you hide. You observe the entity gorging itself. What is it consuming? So, the entity is consuming time. And I think this is great in the ways that I've been thinking about this. In the ways that I've been thinking about this, you know, I think this, you know, the show gets a step darker, right? In the way that, you know, 80s sci-fi would still get a little scary. And I think what it is consuming is the, and what's fun is this is an entity that exists across time, right? So we don't have to consider it as a physical being. You know, I think especially in this, I think the entity isn't shown as like, you know, maybe it's a guy in a suit in terms of like, you know, how we would present it on the show, but it's not shot that way. You know, we just see a hunched shape in the corner of a shot, right? I like the idea of hearing this sound and hiding behind the cars and watching this shape, this kind of not incomprehensible in like a Cthulhu style way, maybe a little bit, but incomprehensible in the way that I just can't get a good look at it. I can't really see it. I don't know what it looks like. And I think it's literally eating it's eating this timeline merge. Because if what it eats is time, you know, this sort of overlap of time is going to be very attractive to it. And you know, I think, you know, it's the Doctor Who way of people are like, oh, run out, you know, like we don't see it eating anybody specifically, but we hear it making a lot of eating sounds. We show cars getting pulled, that sort of thing. A double stuffed Oreo, right? And so I think it's consuming, you know, I think it's consuming the cars, and I think kind of ultimately the people, But in a, in a way that we don't show it, but in a way that's focused on, it's focused on temporal elements, right? It's focused on things that have been acted on by temporal events. Vietnam is going to pass a law forcing social platforms like YouTube to let users skip ads within 5 seconds. The regulations also have to stop websites from forcing viewers to wait before closing static image ads. The law comes into effect February 15th. I wonder how YouTube will circumvent that law. I'm interested to see a follow-up story about the ways that YouTube circumvents that. By only applying it in Vietnam? Oh, well, certainly, but also how do they get around it in Vietnam? They'll do something else. They'll figure out something else. You'll have to sit through 15 ads. Something. They figure it out. Okay. Let me mark here. Entity encounter. By making by making you skip 4 times. I also think it's really funny that they're passing that law when, like, I feel like there's different ways to do it than just like, you have to do it this, like, I don't know. I feel like laws on the internet, laws around things on these platforms are, and I say this as an American, are generally so toothless because they make the law and then they don't do anything about it. And then they just go, oh, well, whatever, I guess. It consumes, oh, I wrote events twice. Consumes items from temporal events. And destroy a number of days equal to the result of your dice roll. I mean, I think it feels appropriate that it has eaten February 6th. Right? I think it feels appropriate, given the fiction, that it's eaten February 6th. How bad does that come through on the other side? That's fine. So. Oh, goodness gracious. Screaming hello. Is February 6th of a nice cinnamon flavor or more like a citrusy tint? or March 6th. March 6th. Screaming, how the heck are you doing? How the heck are you doing? Oh God. I dropped it, it doesn't count. Ever get that feeling you've lost a whole day? I have a feeling that won't be our last. You know? I have a feeling that it won't be our last. So. Dad's recovering, organizing home health care, a bit of stress off my shoulders. That's good. That's good to hear. That's very good to hear. Okay. 5 with a 3. 3 means we're going backwards. 3 months. 5 months. I don't think we can do that. Well, I mean, it does have these. So would that be November? November 6th. And we got a 5. 2 timelines split. We have a timeline divergence. Well, we'll just do, is it coming up when I pull it up? Yeah. We'll do the coin flip and then we'll see which one is important. Tails. There are voices ringing out in unison. An intimate space packed wall to wall with people. What do they say as one? Interesting. We rolled a 5. On the watch, this is our 5th prompt. So we're going back before. What do they say as one? This is an interesting opportunity. I think we have a sort of I think we have a like a political activism episode. You know, we have a like, you know, when you know, a very special episode. And it's to provide sort of a break after the sort of horror of the last episode with the entity. So I think it's some sort of, it's like a punk club in the UK. And I think who's our fun guest star for this episode? Who would be Dale Cooper? You know, in the 80s, Kyle MacLachlan would be a pretty good guess. Pretty good guest. Because he was acting then, right? What was Kyle MacLachlan doing in the 80s? Let's scroll past a bunch of bullshit on IMDb.
Wahoo! Ho 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 ho!
Anna! Oh yeah, he was in Dune in '84 and then Blue Velvet in '86. So Yeah, and then Twin Peaks was 89. So yeah, in the 80s ish, his film debut was Dune. Yeah, so this would be this would be pretty solid. Anna, hello. Anna, hello. So yeah, I like Kyle MacLachlan. I'm gonna spell his name right because it's gonna bother me. And I think it's like, so it's a punk club, and I think it's something. I want to do the classic expectation twist, where, you know, we get there, you know, we show up and we're presented with this punk scene, all of this harsh music, you know, all of these rough looking people. I occasionally forget Kyle just started with David Lynch. Must have been a wild first major director experience. That's why I think the two of them are so locked in. That's why I think they were so in sync the whole time, was, you know, so yeah, I think it's like, oh, you know, like where are we? Who are all these people? You know, we're kind of initially presenting all these people as very rough and harsh and all of this. And then, I think Kyle plays the like owner of the club, or the bartender or something, like the character that we see the most. Actually, yeah, I think it's the bartender, because I think it's really funny that we pop in at like the back of this club and are like, you know, like, oh, like, you know, really disoriented, all of this music, all of these people shoving us and stuff. And we get shoved to the bar and we're like, you know, and it's like, hey, can you get you something? You look up and it's Kyle MacLachlan. I think that's a good shot. And I think it comes out that they're doing a food drive or something. They're doing something to support their local community. They're having some sort of you know, something like a food drive, something, you know, something like Food Not Bombs, you know, some sort of local community activism. And, you know, again, we get the sort of, we get the moment at the end of the episode. You know, we get the moment with Kyle where, you know, it's like, yeah, you can't judge people by their looks. You know, you can't know somebody's heart. And, you know, one of those like unexpected community moments where it's like, oh yeah, you know, I didn't think this room full of people that I prejudged to be, you know, dangerous and harsh and aggressive in this way. I didn't think that they would be this community focused. I'm sorry, the cord is just sticking out and it's bugging me, so I'm fixing it. Okay, I'm not though. Yeah. I like this idea of every episode having a guest star and then also sort of a a feel good message at the end. I really hope we get another device soon. Because it would be fun to show off some of the other devices. I also hope we go forward. I think the next one, regardless, we have to go forward. So I'm gonna put my finger on the scale a little bit. We got to go forward in the next one. Okay. Excuse me. So we got a 3. We got a 3. And this is an odd number, so it's months, but we are going to go forward. Which puts us forward 3 months, puts us in January. It puts us back to our first day. It puts us back to our first day. So we are in the same area that we started. We're in the same area that we started. Prompt number 3, there lies a victim surrounded by loved ones. What about them has been changed, taken, or controlled? There lies a victim surrounded by loved ones. So we're back at the Kmart. The same Kmart where we started. We didn't have a special guest for the first episode. I wonder if there was a small cameo in the first episode. That then that person comes back as a greater guest role here. What about them has been changed, taken, or controlled? It's really, victim is such a specific use of words that I really enjoy, because it lets you know that a bad thing happened. A bad thing definitely happened, but it leaves it super open. And I think this is again another. I don't want to say that the show gets darker, because I want that to only happen when we encounter the entity. Like I want that to sort of be a demarcation. But I think this person has had their like time stolen. I think they got Raiders of the Lost Ark. Is it Raiders? Last Crusade? Last Crusade? Last Crusade, not Raiders of the Lost Ark. That's you like burst into flames. They got Last Crusaded. They chose poorly. They drank from the wrong cup. So we rolled a 3 on the watch. And this is someone. Maybe this is somebody. Yeah, so this is the cameo. This is whoever our cameo was, because I think this is the person who interacted with us. Like in the first episode, I think we had a moment when we were looking for our package where Lamari, hello. Lamari, hello. How are you? I think there was a moment in the first episode when we were looking for our package where we had one of those like, is there something I can help you with, sir? And it's like, no, I'll know it when I see it. And then because that person interacted with us, they were more temporally attractive to the entity. And so I'm thinking who would be a good choice for that sort of blink and you miss it cameo. Lamari, how are you doing? How the heck are you doing? I hope you're doing well. Who would be a good... I'm just gonna search people famous in the 80s. Just working? I hope work is going okay. What made someone famous in the 80s is very funny. Oh, a young Christopher Walken is fun. A young Christopher Walken is fun. That's a funny idea. I wonder also, like, you can't pick people who are too famous. You know? It's gotta be people who I was briefly in love with him as a kid, but only in one film. I think Christopher Walken's one of those guys who, like, is attractive, but most people have seen him in things where he doesn't play as like conventionally handsome. I think he's pretty handsome. I think it's very funny on this listicle to say that Arnold Schwarzenegger was more famous than Princess Diana. Like, maybe, but I don't know. I'm trying to, you know what I gotta do? I gotta look for people who got really famous in the 90s. That's the trick. People who were a little famous in the 80s, but got really famous in the 90s. Oh, Molly Ringwald is a fun pick. Molly Ringwald is a fun. That's funny. Yeah, I like that. That's a fun pick. Molly Ringwald. Justin Timberlake. Well, the problem is, like, Justin only got famous like as part of NSYNC. Like, he didn't do something before that. You know what I mean? Okay, yeah, I'll have to. I'll keep this list. We can. This has some names. Julia Roberts would be another good one. Julia Roberts would be another good. Would be good. Julia Roberts would be good. I don't know who makes this show that is able to get Molly Ringwald and Kyle MacLachlan and all that, but it's very funny. It's very funny. I'm just gonna put Entity ate her time. And we'll leave that open-ended because sometimes you wanna leave questions, right? Sometimes you want to leave questions to say like, eh. They put Twin Peaks on syndicated TV. The show could live there. Yeah, that's Twin Peaks and syndication's very funny. Twin Peaks and syndication's so funny. Aaron and I gotta do Twin Peaks. I bought those Blu-rays. We gotta do that. All right. Oh God. Come on. Dice, please. Dice, don't do this to me. All right. All right. Thoroughly support y'all experiencing Twin Peaks. I bought the, oh, we got another 3. I don't want the same prompt 2 times in a row. I think that's that's one way. Okay, finally a 4. I think that's the one way there's no no immediate repeats. You know what I mean? No immediate repeats. Also unrelated, the Lord of the Rings era of shelved by genre has begun. Oh my God, has it? It absolutely has. I might literally just have to go buy or download the audiobooks. Because I don't think, I think with the way that I listen to audio stuff, it is not going to be feasible for me to like get it from the library. I just need to find that version and buy it. Okay. So we got a 4 and we got a 2. 4 is we find a new device, which we'll roll the prompt for. 2 is we're going, I want to go, okay, we can go back 2 days. Or 4 days. So the 2nd. 7th prompt. Four on the watch. Yeah, I told Aaron last night, I was like, at least 3 people that I follow on Blue Sky have started rewatching / listening / whatever Lord of the Rings because of shelved by genre specifically. And buddy, I hope to have a podcast that's that powerful.
Come on in, Raiders. Fuck you, Matt Calder.
Emily, hello. Are we planning things? No, Emily, we're time traveling. We got here just in time. You got here just in time to help us or watch us discover a new time travel device. A new time travel device. Emily, how the heck you doing? How the heck are you? I hope you're doing well. Everybody go follow Emily. No, today we are playing Project ECCO. If someone can do ! Project ECCO in the chat. If somebody can do that in the chat for links so everybody knows what's going on. We're playing Project ECCO, which is a time travel TTRPG that you play in a planner. I'm tired. Why are you so tired? Get more sleep. What are you doing? All right. Well, let's roll the d6. Let's roll the d6, and then we'll see what the roll is. 1. I get the skimmer. Page 24. When you come across the package containing the skimmer, a message from director 0214 appears embedded in a sign museum, a newscast, or from the mouth of a passerby. Things are getting worse. What warning does the message contain? Ooh. I'm tired and I'm overwhelmed way. I finally understand my new job. I realize how much I need to correct my own shit. I think that's a really important part of I was gonna say of having a job. That sounds condescending. I just think when you have a new job, when you like lock in and go, oh, I see. You know what I mean? And you hope it's an important part of the process, right? And you hope the place that you work with is accommodating of that time period. Okay. The skimmer. A small handheld device with a blank screen, dizzying patterns dance across a pixelated display as you slide your finger over the single scroll wheel. The skimmer is agency tech that leverages the rotation of the Earth, long retired due to the side effects on an agent's body. To use the skimmer, we roll 2d6, we add them together. We flip that many pages in the planner and pick a date on that page as the date that we travel to. And then we use the result that we roll and consult the prompt. So we find this skimmer. I'm gonna mark that here. Getting your sea legs phase, right. So we found the skimmer. And oh, let me add that to my inventory. Also. It was page 24. And there's, yeah, he's right here. I showed everybody at the starter stream. There's a message that we get that's somehow we get a directed message from the director, which is funny to say. It's like it just happens, right? It's not like a note or something like that. It's that like at this moment in time, and I think we find the skimmer in a Radio Shack, because you know we talked about the agency using these sort of 80s chains. We find the skimmer in a Radio Shack, and I think when that happens, there's a really weird combination of things. Blood Carnation, hello. I think there's a really weird connection of things where we look up and see an ad, you know, like a flyer that says like time is running out, and then we're walking out and we overhear someone say like, oh, I haven't got much time. And, you know, someone else says something like, oh, I don't know how we have the time for that. And we go outside and there's like, you know, like we just, in this moment, we're sort of bombarded by conversation snippets and flyers, because again it's the 80s, so it's like flyers. There's like a TV in the window of the Radio Shack that's like act now, no time to delay, that sort of thing. And I think we're gonna, it leads, it ends with us sort of almost absent-mindedly using the skimmer just to get away. We have to get away from this. We have to, you know, it's like obviously we have to continue what we're working on. But we have to get away from this. We have to get out. And so we're going to use the skimmer. That's really funny. That's really funny. Watching the PNG tuber. That hasn't happened before because I was only using one die. So oh, that's very that's very funny. Oh, Snake Eyes. Oh man. Snake Eyes. This little guy's so full of dice. I flip that many pages and I choose a date. And then I read the matching prompt. Well, so how do we want to, how do I want to read this? How do I want to read this? Do I want, so is it like, I'm flipping physical pages, but I think also I need to stay on this page. I roll my dice by shaking Matt and having them just spit out the dice. I put him in my mouth and then you just shake my head and I go, puh. Oh my goodness. So I think I have to stay on here. And I think we'll do Saturday. So this is the 8th prompt. We rolled a 2 on the skimmer. From behind, a great force knocks you down. When you collect yourself, you find your pockets empty. As you pick yourself up, what shape escapes into the shadows? You've lost your coin. Set it aside for now. A great force knocks you down. What shape escapes into the shadows? What? I think I think it's very easy to read, like, Jalen, hello. I think it's very easy to, you know, following the fiction, you know, I'm sort of coming off of the last prompt. I'm getting overwhelmed by fuck them up or don't get fucked up, whichever applies. You know, I would say it's going okay at this moment. I think it's easy to follow the fiction from the last one and say, you know, I was being overwhelmed by the control that the agency was enacting in that moment. And then I'm sort of knocked to the ground after time traveling. What shape escapes into the shadows? I want to establish another. I don't want to use entity because the entity is like the bad guy. But I want a third faction, at least an individual that is you know how like the Doctor has, you know, in Doctor Who, the Doctor has a lot of groups and people that he interacts with, sometimes in a good way, sometimes in a bad way. You know, he has any number of companions. He has the Master. He has like regular people. He has the, you know, they're always British, but whatever, the military, the government. Like, he has all these different groups that he interacts with. And so I'm kind of interested in establishing a person or group that is not necessarily antagonistic inherently, but is interested in time travel, is interested in temporal travel, and has their own goals. Because, you know, hey, I don't think the agency as it stands is just a wholly good operation. A parallel kind of establishment. Yeah, I mean, I'm not afraid of it being one person, but one person can be an organization in this sort of context. You know, one person can be a group working against or parallel to the agency. But, you know, I do think, listen, it's called the agency. The agency doesn't mean good guys. I think we can accept that, like, yeah, you know, the agency probably does some shit that's bad. And I'm sure has done things in pursuit of whatever the hell they're in pursuit of, that have caused people grief and problems. And maybe this person is a representation of that, of those outcomes. You know, this person or organization, you know, just some sort of third party, because that sets up fun narrative stuff, you know, that sets up fun, that sets up a whole other world of characters that we can interact with. Especially now that I don't have my coin. Especially now that I don't have my coin. What that means mechanically is anytime a coin prompt comes up, it's going to be, I'm going to have a temporal distortion, just inherently. And so I think this is a good time to establish that there's another force around that we could encounter. I'm just going to set up establish third party. And when we have a prompt that would make sense to encounter them kind of more directly, we can do that. And we could even river song it a little bit, where we could, you know, if this is a person, we can encounter them out of order. Fun. So yeah, look at that. It's already break time. Holy shit. Holy shit. It's already break time. So, the Agents of Adventure, the Adventures of Agent 0106 will pause for a moment. I invite everybody to get up and move around. Yikes, I need to get more work done. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for being so interesting today. I'm sorry for being so interesting today. Again, today we are checking out Project ECCO by Elliot Davis. Go moreblueberries.itch.io. You can check out all of Elliot's work, including this, and I can't ever remember the name of the game 100%. The Time We Share, The Time We Have, which is a fantastic 2-player game. And yeah, just listen, Elliot does a lot of cool stuff, so go check him out. I'm gonna go refill my tea. I'm gonna refill my water. I'm gonna have a little snack. I encourage you to get up and move around a little bit, take a stretch, you know, stretch your back, stretch your neck, stretch your legs, all that good stuff. If you haven't recently, like I said, get up, have a snack, have a drink, have a meal if you haven't yet. Today, go outside, get some fresh air, touch some grass, all that good stuff. When I get back, we'll do game duel, and then we'll get back over here. So I'll see you in a little bit.